Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Subramaniam, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders and investors. Today we have with us Rajiv Subramaniam, founder at Eatfresh, an IIT grad who's prior to this worked at Lehman Brothers and Oracle. Welcome Rajiv.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks for having me on the show. Great to speak to you.
All right. So brief intro. Eatfresh. Rajiv runs Eatfresh, which aims to be the gold standard in online food ordering. And that's done today by delivering great quality food from top-rated chefs straight from grade A kitchens. Eatfresh model is unique as an e-commerce business as its product catalog changes daily and the inventory is replenished by the hour. It's brought to us by the Ubiquitous Foods company, which is also behind Eatfresh, who has around 50 plus outlets in Chennai and Bangalore. Again, welcome Rajiv. Do fill in the gaps in the intro and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Sure. So Eatfresh, like you said, is a platform for chef-made meals. And the idea is that you could log on to our site or to our app.
Okay.
And in 2 clicks, you get a hot chef-made meal delivered to you in 45 minutes or less.
Okay.
And sort of the quality of chefs we have on the platform are people who have worked at 5-star restaurants, have worked overseas, have great experience, which you would otherwise pay upwards of a few thousand rupees a meal for. Whereas we now sort of democratize that and then give you access to it at 150, 200 rupees a meal.
Oh, that's damn good.
Yeah.
So before we get into the business, any passions outside of work?
A little boring on that front, but I'd say I have a 4-year-old daughter, so she keeps me busy, and that's what I like to invest my time in outside of work. And I'm passionate and interested in businesses in general.
Okay.
And business philosophies in general. So that keeps me going, and it's closely aligned to what I do at work.
All right. So, the inevitable question, what inspired the idea for Eatfresh?
So we've been in the food business since 2009 when I started out Eatfresh as a single unit bakery retail chain. And the idea there was to sort of create what, let's say, Coffee Day or Starbucks had done in the cafe space, to do that in the bakery retail space and to create the first large modern bakery retailer in India. And over the past, several years now, about 7 years since we started that out, we've grown that out to about a 50 outlet chain between Bangalore and Chennai, and it's a profitable business in its own
Excellent.
right.
Okay.
So what we realized with Eatfresh sometime earlier last year was that online consumption was growing in the food space.
Correct.
And sort of the disruption we had seen in electronics, in fashion, and virtually every category was now coming to food. And if you've read the entrepreneur's dilemma or the innovator's dilemma, which is that if you see disruptive technology in your space, what should you do next? And I think the natural progression for us there was that we should participate and be part of this disruption, which is sort of why we launched it.
Okay. And what's the vision for the company?
We think that essentially food as a on-demand utility, which is, imagine you had 5-star quality room service at your home. We replace your existing kitchen.
Okay.
And sort of to take that and grow it out not only to different cities in India, but we think we are early enough in the space that this can be at some point a pan-Asian or even a global growth story.
Okay. So, when you initially thought of this idea, so was it just you or any co-founders as such? I've read you bought in Vijay Karodia, then there was Sharan Yuar and few others. So did you start it or together with them?
Sure. The company, when we initially started out, was a company I co-founded with my mother.
Okay.
She used to be a home baker. She used to bake out of a room in our house. And that's sort of my growing up years. That was sort of my exposure to it.
Okay.
When I was in school, I was sort of like a part-time employee.
Uh-huh.
And that had been sort of our Eatfresh journey, though we had raised institutional capital subsequently.
Yep.
She was a co-founder I started off with. In later years, we have brought on a professional team, Vinay, Sharon, Jippy, who are all sort of have different experience on the on-demand and the tech side
Okay.
to sort of support us.
Okay. So how does Eat Fresh work? I mean, for the consumer.
So a consumer places goes to our website, and we
Okay.
have a daily changing menu. So on that's part of the curiosity of the model is that you never know what's on the menu next. Common feeling all of us as humans have is that we're sort of bored of whatever regular food we get even at home, and we sort of
Correct. Correct.
want some excitement. There's a need for variety, and that's what we are looking to. So we
Okay.
keep it exciting by changing the menu every day.
Okay.
So customer comes online, 2 clicks, sort of places the order. It then gets routed automatically depending on GPS to the nearest kitchen. The kitchen then processes that order. We have a bunch of technology at the back end, starting from programmable ovens to IoT devices, which are temperature sensors, which we embed to all our chillers, steamers,
Oh,
all
wow.
through
Okay.
the supply chain. So we know, let's say, for example, we know that we want customers to receive our product at 55 degrees C or more, because
Okay.
that's what is perceived as a hot meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the last mile delivery, we use a remotely controlled sensor which measures the temperature of the food product which is being sent out.
Uh-huh.
And across all of our kitchens across Bangalore, we can remotely monitor that food is going out at this specified temperature.
Okay. So how many kitchens do you have across Bangalore?
So we have 12 hub kitchens which do
Okay.
delivery.
And is that like contracted out, or it's your own kitchens?
So we believe in being completely full stack. So everything from procurement of raw materials to the chefs to the kitchens to the delivery staff are all part of the Eatfresh and the Eatfresh family.
Okay.
So we do it in.
Okay. So you stress about the three T's, that is time, temperature, and taste, which is being the backbone of Eat Fresh. So
Right.
I understand taste can be managed by the five-star chefs, and of course, how do you manage the or maintain the temperature and time of delivery, especially with Bangalore and the intense traffic challenges as the.
Right, right, and you're right. So the traffic in Bangalore is both a challenge and an opportunity in our view, because
Okay.
the traffic is exactly what has created the on-demand home delivery market.
Uh-huh.
Because once you get home, you can't go out,
Correct.
and
Correct.
you're so
Absolutely.
what we've done on the temperature side, like I mentioned, was to set up these IoT temperature sensors in each one of our locations, and we monitor temperature profile of all of our equipment remotely through the day, so we know product getting cooked at the right temperature is being dispatched at the right temperature.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the delivery and the time side, each one of our delivery boys has a rider app which we've developed in house on their mobile phone, and
Okay.
the order automatically gets routed to the next available rider going to deliver the food for you, and he gets a GPS map which sort of shows him the best route to deliver the product to you,
Okay.
and that's how we do it. And so, the challenges in Bangalore remain. Sort of just grin and bear it and sort of work around it.
Got it. So now the Indian consumer is open to all types of food from the world. How do you at Eatfresh see the breakup in the cuisines? I mean, what's most ordered in terms of what type of cuisine?
So, in terms of what we offer customers, there's an equal mix
Uh-huh.
of Indian, Pan Asian, and continental food.
Okay.
But your heart is where the home is, as we
Correct.
say. And so Indian customers tend to order a lot of Indian food, and so that typically ends up being about 60 to 70% of what we sell.
Okay. So, like in the B2C business, I mean, it's not an easy business, and you have no ideas how consumers will react, especially in the food business, where one goes only when one is hungry. So, how do you handle an upset customer?
Right. So I think that one thing which we admit and acknowledge in house is that we there are going to be issues with either service delivery or taste is a very personal thing,
Correct.
and it is possible that a customer doesn't like the taste of what we make. And begin with the underlying philosophy of any consumer business has to be that the customer is always right.
Yep.
We accept that. There's a no questions asked refund in case we fail on any one of those three parameters, which is taste, temperature, or time. And that being said, a sincere apology in cases where we do go wrong, and sort of acknowledging that while we have not been able to fix or we can't fix the meal which has already happened, we'll do our best in a future meal, and here's sort of a refund or compliment.
Okay. So running a restaurant is, I mean, pretty risky, especially in the offline space. I mean, what do you see the challenges in the online space, and how do you think you're going to achieve success?
So I think the big advantage with the online space is that when you go to an offline restaurant, 30% of your bill goes towards paying for the air conditioning, for the interiors, for the service stuff.
Yep.
By going to this cloud kitchen concept, which is to only have a back-end space and not a customer-facing space, we strip away all those costs. So we'd get a direct benefit of about this 30% additional margin. In terms of challenges which arise because you don't have this front-end facing outlet for customers is the customer acquisition, which is that how do you then capture mind space in the customers that when they want to order next, they don't think of the local restaurant, but they think of this online place, they decide to order from them. So this is where both our offline presence with the Eatfresh business has helped in terms of activating and acquiring customers. And the second is that we have tried to be creative in terms of content we put out. So we put out a lot of online food content, blogs, posts, videos about food, which then get customers excited and interested in what we're doing. And then that sort of translates.
Okay. So you're only covering Bangalore as of today, or any other markets?
So as a company, we have operations in Chennai and in Chennai and Bangalore. We are just launching in Chennai, I think, another couple of months from now. And we have our next step in terms of expansion plans is to go to Hyderabad, Mumbai, and NC.
Okay. In terms of competition, I mean, you have so many. I mean, it was the rage, the food delivery service. So you have Fresh Menu, Swiggy, Zomato, Hola Chef, and the others.
Right.
How are you like very different? What's the USP as such?
So I think that some of those who you mentioned are simply aggregators and not full stack players, so to speak. But our positioning is on critical points. One is that each one of our meals is made by 5-star quality chefs. The second is that we have a wide variety of both Indian as well as international cuisine. And the third is that despite this combination of both variety and high quality product, we want to give this at a value for money price, which I think has been accepted and has been received as a fairly unique positioning among this crowd.
Yeah. So you've raised around, I think, 25 crores or around 4 million totally for both the ventures, and the latest round is primarily for Eatfresh, right? It's, I think, from Kalari, right?
Right.
And so what are you primarily going to use this for?
So we're using it for expansion within Bangalore and Chennai, and we're continuing to do that.
Okay. And what's the current team size like?
So as a company, we are at about 450 employees.
Oh, wow.
And this is about 300 employees on the Eatfresh side and about 150 on the
And those 450 are all on roll or no contract?
Are all on roll.
Oh my God. Okay.
And that's sort of the nature of the beast.
In the food absolutely.
With scale, we sort of just have to get comfortable and find a scalable way.
Correct. So in your years of experience, what do you think are the challenges, faced by the offline food businesses and now online also?
So I think that, the classic challenges faced by any high employee-based business, those of attrition, how do you manage each one of your units at scale? How do you keep employees motivated and keep giving a great customer experience? You're doing several thousands of customer interactions a day. How is each delivery staff sort of motivated to go and keep the customer right? So I think these are sort of broad challenges, whether you're on the offline and online space, which is where sort of those, what people speak of both culture and training and all of the software aspects of business come into play. And we've made our own small attempts in terms of creating culture and creating consciousness of what we expect to deliver to customers.
Okay. And with the entire funding on the tech space going completely subdued in 2016, how do you see the ecosystem changing? Your view, since you're in Bangalore also,
Right. So I think that this is some of the clearing of the excesses of past years is good.
Yep.
And I think that this sort of sanity, in a sense, which prevailed, that wanting growth at all costs, going away, is over the long run going to be good for the ecosystem.
Correct.
What we have always believed in is to build, firstly, a fundamentally sound business, and this is in terms of economics, in terms of what value you're giving to customers, and sort of valuation and investors and all of those things are secondary and will come, are not the end but the means to an end.
Yeah.
And they will sort of come in due course. And I think this sort of rise and fall of the markets, you've been around long enough, you've seen sort of many of these cycles play out.
Correct.
Lehman, who I used to work for, at one point was the oldest investment bank in the world. They were 150 years old and they still went down.
Correct.
So I think that a bit of clearing out of these markets is natural and required. I think the companies which emerge after this winter are going to be stronger and much better for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so moving out of business, who influenced you most in life?
I don't have sort of a business role model,
Correct,
so to say, but I think that your parents play an important role in your life, and so both my father and my mother have been great role models for me growing up, and I think they are who I look up to.
Okay. And what's some of the best advice or wisdom you've been given?
So I think that it's the A is to, when you sort of, let's say, face a challenge and problem, and this is a pretty broad-based approach which works in virtually every situation. So no matter what the situation is, let's say it's situation X, which is stressing you out and is making you upset or whatever. I think
Correct.
the only way to sort of address it is to park what you are feeling emotionally about that situation and to make a list of what you can actually do about it. And then you do the list.
Correct.
So make the list, do the list has sort of been my philosophy and approach to all situations I'm in, and I think it's worked well.
Great. So you had corporate jobs before, and I know you started entrepreneurship at the age of 26. So when did you know you were meant for entrepreneurship, Rajiv?
So I graduated out of IIM Ahmedabad in 2006. And when I was on campus, there was an elected post where one person would be given responsibility to run the placements for the entire batch. And it was a very entrepreneurial, sort of independent role.
Yep.
And it was the first time in my life I was actually sort of in charge of my own destiny. And for some people, I think that's the sort of high, or whatever you want to call it, or a sense of fulfillment, which can't be matched by anything else. So once I'd done that, it was a pretty binary decision for me. I knew I couldn't go back to doing anything else.
Okay. How do you measure success?
I measure success by creating what I like to call a thing of beauty. And people sort of find it difficult to find beauty in business. But I believe there is a thing as a beautiful business. And this is a business which creates something which is of great economic value, but also creates something which is of great value for its employees and is genuinely making their lives better, making lives better for its customers. And so the universe is a better place for that company having existed.
Correct.
And I think this idea of beauty is something which I'm really excited.
And in terms of the entire journey, were there any low points where you just completely wanted to give up?
If you don't want to give up, then you're not doing it right. So the only and it's a surest sign that you're sufficiently emotionally invested in what you're doing. The nature of this journey is that primarily because there are many things which are outside of your control, and you're seeking out, in part, right? You're trying to seek out something which is your own destiny. So there will be low points and there will be occasional high points. But motoring through, again, like I said, make a list of what's going to get you out of that low point and you do the list.
Okay. So moving to your like a daily life. So what does the first 90 minutes of your day look like?
The first 90 minutes of my day involves, on the personal front, it involves dropping my daughter off
Okay.
to her bus stop, taking a walk
Okay.
in the morning, which sort of helps me clear my thoughts and get me ready for the day.
Okay.
What I like to do first is essentially look at what are the different projects or different tasks each one of my reportees are working on and sort of review what needs to be done today.
Okay.
What I like to do.
Okay. So you're involved in the hiring process, etc. So, I mean, what do you look at for someone who wants to join Eatfresh?
I think at the entry level, we just look for a good attitude and an eagerness to learn. I think those are the two things which are not trainable in a person. Everything else is trainable.
Okay.
Is primarily what we look at in the entry level. At more senior levels, I think looking for things like integrity, willingness to operate independently, and a good mutual fit between myself and if it is a senior person who's coming in, having a good mutual fit is sort of the top
Okay.
food.
Okay. I mean, anything at present, any new launch, release, or features coming out that's getting you really excited?
So we have a new version of the website coming out,
Oh, great.
and what we're looking to do there is to create individual ratings and feedback for each one of our products on our site. So let's say you go on and you see a new, let's say a chicken biryani, but you've never had this from us and you don't know what customers or other people think of it. So what we are trying to do now is to create transparent feedback for that product.
Okay.
So you drill down and then you know what all customers who have ever had it have actually said about this product. So you can take it forward.
Okay. Yeah, feedback's. I think it's a very powerful system actually,
Right.
if done properly. Correct.
Right. Right.
And where do you see yourself in your business? Let's say in the next 2 to 3 years.
I think we want to get to the top 5 cities in India next, and I
Okay.
think the next couple of years should see us as a large player in these 5 cities.
Great. So now we moved a part of the show which is quick fire round, simple, brief answers. Okay. So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
I say I run a food business.
Okay. When you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to mind?
I think MS Dhoni.
Okay. What do you excel at that people might not realize?
I think I do well at the tech side, but I'm perceived as a food guy.
Okay. What is something that you believe in that other people think is insane?
I believe in doing the right thing at the fundamental level for a company, even
Okay.
if it doesn't result in a good night.
Okay. And what is Rajiv's greatest weakness?
Rajiv's greatest weakness is eating too much of the food he makes.
Your favorite city globally?
I like Bangalore.
Oh, favorite movie?
The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, mine too. Any book you're reading right now?
I'm reading a book by Andy Grove, but the name just escapes me right now.
Okay. Finally, Raju, any last thought or piece of advice that you may have wished that you want to give our listeners?
I think that one of the things, and this is again, you need advice at the tough times. And one of the things which gets you past the tough times is phrase I keep thinking of, which is keep walking. And even if you're going through a tough phase, just sort of keep moving ahead, keep doing it, and not worrying too much about it. And eventually, there'll be light at the end.
Okay. So, would you be interested, like in mentoring our listeners if they come to you?
Sure, I've spoken to for whatever it's worth. I've spoken to folks and happy
Okay.
to.
So, do let our listeners know how they can reach you and also eat fresh.
Sure, you can mail me at rajiv@eatfresh.com.
Okay.
I'll respond.
All right. Again, Rajiv, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures. And all the very best at building and scaling Eatfresh.
Thanks, Rajiv. It's been great talking.
So do visit Eatfresh and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes. And please subscribe to the show and leave your reviews and your thoughts about the show. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.